Liverpool fans are celebrating the arrival of Alexander Isak. But before the excitement runs away with itself, remember this. He forced his way out of Newcastle, refusing to train and going on strike. If he could do it once, what's to stop him doing it again? We've already seen him in Europe earlier this week where he failed to find the net, and today brought his first glimpse of Premier League action in Liverpool red. Isak came off the bench in the Merseyside derby, playing around 25 minutes. He didn't even register a shot. Not exactly the explosive debut fans were dreaming of, and it raises the question, if this is how things begin, what happens when the pressure really builds? Because behind the excitement, there's a darker side to this transfer that Liverpool can't afford to ignore. But whatever the result, the truth is this transfer has another side to it, a darker side. And that's what we're about to uncover. Liverpool are a financial powerhouse, one of the richest clubs in world football. But for years, they were praised for restraint, signing smart, selling smart, and only breaking the bank when absolutely necessary. This summer, that changed. They didn't just break their transfer record. They broke the English transfer record twice in the same window. First with Florian Wirtz, then with Alexander Isak. And yet it wasn't reckless. Liverpool also recouped huge sums through player exits, proving they can balance the books while flexing their muscle. But this was different. This was Liverpool rebuilding from the very top, not patching holes. And that changes everything. Because when you rebuild with back-to-back record signings, the expectations shift. There's no betting-in period. There are no excuses. Isak isn't just a big signing, he's the face of a new era. And that comes with immense pressure, but pressure is only part of the risk. The other is fitness. Isak is electric when he plays, but the truth is, he hasn't always been available. Throughout his time at Real Sociedad and Newcastle, he suffered recurring muscle injuries. Not freak accidents, but repeat problems. Liverpool fans know how damaging that can be. Think Daniel Sturridge, who could have been world-class if his body had held up, or Naby Keita, who never strung a season together. Even Thiago, brilliant in flashes but too often missing. If Isak follows the same pattern, Liverpool's record-breaking gamble could spend more time in the treatment room than on the pitch. And then there's the way this transfer happened. Because Alexander Isak didn't just leave Newcastle, he forced his way out. Reports suggest that when Liverpool came calling, Isak refused to train. He made it clear to Eddie Howe and his teammates that he would never play for Newcastle again. In other words, he went on strike. The justification? Rumors pointed to a gentleman's agreement when he first signed that if a European giant came knocking, Newcastle wouldn't stand in his way. But crucially, there was no release clause in his contract. Newcastle were under no obligation to sell. So when Isak downed tools, it left a sour taste. Fans who had idolized him felt betrayed. Teammates were frustrated, and pundits across the game criticized the way he went about it. For many, it wasn't ambition, it was unprofessionalism. And that's the dark side Liverpool must consider. If Isak was willing to strike at Newcastle, to refuse to train, and to burn bridges to force a move, what happens if Real Madrid or Barcelona come calling in 2 or 3 years? Because this transfer isn't just about ability, it's about character. Liverpool's greatest heroes weren't only defined by goals, they were defined by loyalty. Steven Gerrard, who turned down Chelsea at the height of his powers to stay at Anfield. Kenny Dalglish, who became not just a player, but a symbol of the club, sticking with Liverpool through tragedy and triumph. Ian Rush, who after a short spell at Juventus, returned to Anfield and gave years of service. Jamie Carragher, who could have left for more money elsewhere, but built his entire career in Liverpool red. And of course, Mohamed Salah, who in the modern era has resisted huge offers, including a fortune from Saudi Arabia, to keep writing his story at Anfield. That's the standard of commitment Liverpool fans are used to. But then you look at Isak. At Newcastle, he didn't show patience or loyalty. He forced his way out. Ambition isn't a crime. Every player wants to play at the highest level. But ambition without loyalty can fracture a team. Liverpool may have bought goals, but have they bought commitment? Or just a player already planning for his next move? Then comes the tactical question. Liverpool's attack has already changed massively. Nunez sold, Jota tragically gone. Into that gap stepped Hugo Ekitike, signed for over £65 million and outstanding so far this season. He's been one of the brightest sparks of the rebuild, finally giving Liverpool a consistent central option. But with Alexander Isak's arrival, that dynamic shifts completely. Isak hasn't come in to rotate. He's come in as the guaranteed number 9, the striker Liverpool will build their system around. And that means Ekitike, despite his form and his price tag, will either be forced wider to get minutes or left waiting as a backup through the middle. It's a brutal reminder of football at the elite level. One record-breaking signing can instantly change the status of another. And for Liverpool, it raises a dangerous question. If Isak doesn't deliver, they risk not only losing their new star, but also unsettling one of their most promising signings in years. And Liverpool fans know this story all too well, because Isak isn't the first superstar whose ambition outweighed loyalty. Think back to Luis Suarez, a genius on the pitch, adored by the cop, but constantly linked with Real Madrid and Barcelona. In the end, he forced his way to the Camp Nou, leaving Liverpool to rebuild once again. Or Fernando Torres, the golden boy of Anfield. He was the hero of the cop, the striker who seemed untouchable, until he handed in a transfer request and joined Chelsea. Fans were heartbroken, and the fallout was brutal. Felipe Coutinho is another, a magician in midfield, but when Barcelona came knocking, he downed tools and forced the move in January. That saga destabilized Liverpool's season. Even Raheem Sterling, once seen as the future of the club, left for Manchester City in pursuit of silverware. A decision that left Liverpool fans furious. And if you go further back, you'll find echoes too. Michael Owen, once the club's talisman, running down his contract to join Real Madrid. Or Steve McManaman, leaving on a free transfer to the Bernabeu. One of the earliest modern examples of Liverpool losing their star to European giants. Each case follows the same pattern. Adored players, viewed as the future, but ultimately choosing ambition and bigger stages over loyalty. And that's the dark side Liverpool can't ignore with Isak. Because history suggests when a player forces his way out once, it's usually not the last time. So let's be clear. On paper, Alexander Isak to Liverpool looks like a dream, a record-breaking striker entering his prime. But beneath the surface lies the dark side. The pressure of back-to-back record fees, the injury record, the strike at Newcastle, the loyalty doubts, and the tactical gamble. Isak could become the next great cop hero, or he could become the symbol of a gamble that backfired. So what do you think? Is Alexander Isak the new number 9 Liverpool have been waiting for? Or the next expensive regret? Let me know in the comments, especially Liverpool and Newcastle fans. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit like, subscribe to Inside the Game, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story where football meets legacy. Because in football, every transfer has two sides, the dream and the dark side.